Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
We speak about how um, the energy is much stronger for the period between Stuart's birthday and his uh, uh, leaving the world.
Rudy's birthday.
Rudy's birthday, yes. Sorry. Um, uh, so how is that different? How um, I've been thinking about it, well, it's very thick and hard, but I don't want to think about that period like that. How can I connect with it um, in a different way to make that useful?
Bob, I've been trying to answer that question for 50 years now. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that working through that time slot and using the intensity of the energy, the power of the energy, has enabled me to get very strong in my life. How, it's like going to Fort Dix, it's like basic training. Uh, is there an answer to it? I don't think so, Bob, other than saying, okay, I need to go through this. I don't know if all of you go through this. I know every year I go through this. And it reminds me constantly, that I need to make a serious, deep effort to develop my inner life. I can't allow the difficulty of that period to interfere with my inner life. I have to allow myself to get stronger, to use the difficulty as a way of building a chakra system that enables me to transcend it. Every year is the same thing. And why, I have no idea, other than it just seems to be, for me anyway, a very, very powerful period of my year. Am I going to let it beat me down? Am I going to let it keep me from living my life? No. Am I going to use it to get stronger? Am I going to take every meditation class in that period and use it to build a strong inner life for my? Yes. Do I understand it? No. In fact, I've been doing this work 50 years. I don't understand it. And I'll be the first one to admit that. The only thing I know about what Rudy taught me is that it works. If you make that effort, if you take it deep enough inside, it will transform the very depths of your being. The human becomes the spiritual. And then the spiritual nurtures the human so that we work out our karma in the world. It's not just a one-way street. We have to work out our karma. We have to live every day. And that working out the karma, there has to be love, kindness, compassion, non-judgment, judgment. There has to be a person who can function consciously in the world. So the hard work connects one to the transcendental. The transcendental rains down and transforms us into human beings. And these two elements work together. And I know between January 24th and February 21st, it's always that way. It's always like I can also tell, I don't follow when Mercury is in retrograde, but I always know when it is. I feel it, you know, things stop working, you can feel it. Well, instead of getting angry and upset and, trying to beat the hell out of the universe, right, this is what it is. I got to learn to turn it around. I have to learn to make it work for me. So do I have an answer to the question? I guess yes and no, I just gave you a long answer. But in truth, I don't know. I really don't know why that takes place. All I know is what I have to do. Even to just survive it, I have to do that kind of inner work. And I'm grateful for it. I used to get pissed off when I was younger and I would curse and scream. And now I'm just grateful that the universe reminds me, Rudy reminds me of the work that I have to do on myself to continue to grow. And that was an important thing for me to learn because you waste so much energy being upset at things being difficult. And just have to open our hearts and say, thank you. This is making me work deeper on me. That creates the lightness of being. It creates wonderment in ourselves. It creates a sacred world around us. Just that, thank you for making it difficult for me. That I have to really work this hard to build myself because the benefits, the ultimate rewards are amazing. Transforms the human to the spiritual. It enables us to use the spiritual to heighten our humanity. It all works together. I told you many times I used to walk into Rudy's store and he'd be sitting there in half lotus position on his chair by his desk, stringing beads. I mean, I would say, Rudy, what? He said, Stuart, I'm incapable of doing anything else. The energy is so strong that I just have to string beads. That's all I'm capable of doing. And being grateful for this occupation here of making little necklaces. It was a great teaching for me. Instead of being angry because things are difficult and the energy is really strong and making life harder for, he was sitting there being grateful and saying, okay, God, this is what I can do today. This is what I'm capable of doing today. I mean, I go through that. There are times when, and then all of a sudden it changes and I'm in the middle of books and this and that and a million projects that got going on. Oh, by the way, Kenny, the book looks great. It really looks good. I can't wait to see it with all those pictures in it. I mean, it's really coming together. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? When you talk about miracles, I want to do a book of my writings on Tantra, and I want to combine it with art, where I discovered that the Metropolitan Museum of Art has 450,000 of its artworks, photographs of them in the public domain, that anyone can use them for any purpose. Commercial, person, it's unbelievable. It's like God working for you. I could not believe that when I came across. I called up the museum. They told me this. I found it all online. More than 50,000 photographs that are in the public domain. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And I know their collection of, I mean, I know I used to sell them things, for God's sake. Their collection of Hindu and Buddhist art is extraordinary. So it really reaches the pinnacle of what you can collect in that area. Extraordinary things. You know, Chola bronzes, I mean, everything. I remember I once went up to the Met with a sculpture I wanted to sell. And the curator, I knew him, he said to me, Stuart, this is the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You bring here the best. Don't bring me stuff just to look at. I want to see the best. He said, okay, bring you the best. Does anyone else have a question to ask? If there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And again, everyone needs a teacher. You all, your presence here, the questions you ask, the inner work that you're doing to absorb the Shakti that comes not only from me, but from Rudy and Nityananda, and my God, a school of ancient teachers. All it does is it's helping me to grow. So God bless you and thank you. And everybody have a wonderful evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. There'll be a meditation class. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
You. Good night.
Welcome. Good night.
Good night.